Hey, we've all been in a circus, or watched the circus on TV or in a movie and such like that. So we all have always seen where there's always that with the trainer or the ringleader, and then there's the lion, and the leader is sitting here with the lion and making the lion do all these tricks, and the lion is so tame. He can put his head in the lion's mouth like a nut. You know, he can do stuff like that. And we sit there in the audience and we're like, oh, he put his head in the mouth and didn't get it bit off. Oh, snap. All right, that ending result, you already know it had to taken a long time to be able to train that lion, to be able to know, hey, if I put my head in your mouth, don't bite it off, please, because I like to live, and I'm pretty sure you want to too. So it takes a long time to be able to get to that point where the man can master the beast. But in the end, the man succeeds at mastering the beast. This is foreshadowing. This is metaphors, everything for this lesson of today, of taming of the ego. It's pretty much the similar process. You know, we sit down and our ego, it flares up. But if we sit here and take the time, like the trainer, to tame and understand the lion and how to control it, how to make it a little bit more mild-mannered, you know, so it's not around here trying to kill people willy-nilly like it's out in the wild. You know, we take that time to develop that control, then the lion kind of likes, the lion still knows it's a lion, but the lion has also been trained well enough to understand that, you know, there are just certain things I can't do for my life at this time, you know? That's basically what taming of the ego is all about, and that's the end result. That way that trainer can sit down with that lion and tell that lion to do anything, and the lion can respond in the manner in which the trainer wants. That's the ending result we all want with our ego. But the question becomes, how? Well, you see, at this time that this video is now being filmed, Mercury retrograde is going down in Virgo. And I'm watching with a lot of different people how crazy it is with their lives, and if they're not 100% aware of what the ego is and what the ego does, they don't really understand, like, why is all this past stuff coming up? And so I'm making this video now to kind of help with those who have, during this time, interesting insecurities and issues that are just popping up, things that you haven't thought about in years, maybe months, days, or whatever. You know, I did backwards. You know, those stuff are coming up, and at this time, for whatever reason, during this retrograde, this is the biggest time where we need to come in and start reflecting upon these issues that are coming up, so we're not confused. Because right now there are a lot of people who, they are overwhelmed and they feel confused about things and they don't know what's going on. So I just want to briefly go over, how can you tame your ego? I've been talking about ego, so I was like, okay, Neff. Oh, by the way, I've been rude all this time. My name is Nefertiti. Nice to meet you guys. But, all right, Neff, how are we supposed to tame this ego? The best way to tame ego, the simplest way to tame ego, is when you start to notice when your insecurities are coming up, start to question yourself of why you feel the way you feel. See, taming of the ego is basically getting inside of you and start really questioning, why do I have to feel certain types of ways about certain type of things? For what purpose? You know, I'm afraid of spiders. Why am I afraid of spiders? Why is it that every time I see a spider, I have to chicken out and die? You know, why? So that's when you have to start digging. Was it something traumatic that happened in my past? You know, is it dreams? What is it about these spiders that are really making me so afraid? It's simple. But the thing about taming the ego is not a lot of people are afraid to get into that very dark, cold, lonely place deep within ourselves. And that's the best way to get in there. In order to be able to see the light, you need to get dead into that darkness. Because when you're surrounded by nothing that you can't see, then that's when it makes it so much easier to be able to see the light, because it's the brightest thing. Feel me? So the easiest thing I can do is to start challenging you to question yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with questioning yourself, especially when it's for the betterment of you, right? So when you sit down and you start noticing, like, I don't know if I can trust him, or I don't know if I can do this, or I don't, start asking yourself why. And once you ask yourself why, and you start getting to the root cause of where the problem lies, you can start making peace with it. You can start accepting it. So you don't have to sit here and be trapped by it anymore. That's it. It's not a very hard process. It's just you got to be willing to take the process by the horns and make it work for you. That's all the advice I got today. I didn't want to take your time too long. I'll see y'all again. Thanks for tuning. And as always,